Hi, I'm Michael Hansen. It's very interesting for me to be able to do this digital transformation class with you. I do encourage discussion and engagement from your side, so feel free to open discussion at any time and ask questions if there is anything you'd like to clarify. I assume that you've heard about digital transformation and you probably also have some experience from your current jobs. In this class, we'll look at the challenges that companies have when they implement digital transformation. I'm originally from Denmark, so my original background is electronic engineering. I've been working more than 20 years in the IT industry. I also run my own business and have business startup experience, which has given me a lot of knowledge around startups and innovation, business management and consulting, with more. For the past 8 years, I've worked in Singapore. Currently, I teach at James Cook University in Singapore. Some of the subjects I teach are design thinking and entrepreneurship, and then some IT classes. I also run a consulting company that focuses on digital transformation and technology advisory for small and medium businesses and startup around Asia. Today we're going to look at a few different areas within digital transformation. We'll talk about innovation and disruption. We'll look at what is digital transformation and some of the business challenges. And then we'll go into how to become disruptive. And we'll have a look at innovation and technology. And finally, we'll also discuss why companies fail on their digital transformation journey. The examples that I will explain during this class can be found on the internet, although I did not provide detailed case studies for them. Kodak and Pitney Bowes are some of them that I will be talking about during this class. There's always been competition in the world, and as long as there is competition, there is always some sort of innovation. As long as there is a demand, there will be new products coming out, and companies will compete in order to become the leader or preferred company to offer the products. So, disruption is a natural result of market economy. It's the competition that will give the inspiration to innovate. And this is how companies want to differentiate themselves on the market. Being the first with a new product usually will attract customers. Take a look at Apple, for example. The constant innovation push from the first iPhone and the mean to attract customers by creative and innovative design. Or look at the Swiss watchmakers. They actually got disrupted by the Japanese watch manufacturers of digital watches like Casio that came up with a lot cheaper electronic watch. Typewriters, they were disrupted by word processors and computers. Some of you might remember WordPerfect or Lotus Note, and now Microsoft Office. Film cameras was disrupted by digital cameras, and later on smartphones. You may know about Uber. In Asia we have Grab, who basically has changed how taxi and transportation is being delivered. In F&B and retail market, you have delivery applications that changes how people shop and offer delivered food for home dining from more sources than just typical fast food. Telecom is seeing changes as people make use of different apps to communicate, like WhatsApp, Hangout, and other internet-based apps. This makes the telecom vulnerable as their original income stream came from phone communication, and now they have to focus on data, which again is meeting multiple competition from new players. If you think back in history, What are some of the innovative creation that you can think of that disrupted how we live or that disrupted other businesses? Let us have a discussion about the businesses that you may have observed in your areas. What type of digital transformation project or activity would you like them to implement? Under business challenges, we want to look at how business leaders understand disruption, innovation, and the process of transformation. This should involve leadership, technology, processes, and employees, but also customers. As digital transformation is implemented, so will the customer engagement process. You may have heard of customer centric engagement. This is how AWS, Amazon Web Services, place their business focus. How can we provide the best value to our customers? In this sense, customers first. Go-to-market processes will change as businesses innovate constantly and therefore may become a lot faster to push new products or services to market. Therefore, the change is a new way of operating the business. Digital tools, agile process and project management, customer engagement through social media, and improved product to market cycle. To understand digital transformation, you should be aware of some of the factors such as uses of cloud technology. This is actually a cloud migration or cloud transformation depending on how the business structure is currently set up. Let's say that the business make use of some local servers with databases and some application to maintain inventory and customer database. Depending on their service and product offering, they can already consider migrating the databases and other applications to the cloud. This typically will result in a change in cost structure and, if managed correctly, a reduction of cost. That means the IT staff is still needed to take care of the infrastructure and services. As companies migrate their operation to online technology, data and internet connectivity, and staff make use of mobile devices and laptops, the need for improved security matters become more important. Many business owners will neglect the cost of better security implementation, just like you may have experienced companies neglecting customer service. Such companies usually end up losing a lot of money when they realize that they have been hacked, data has been stolen, or other systems has been compromised. Another factor is automation. Together with automation comes process optimization and agile presence. When you make use of technology, you will realize that a lot of the processes you did manually before can now be automated. These features give you and your staff more time to engage with customers, land more sales, and produce better and more innovative products. Social media is a tool that many companies make use of to engage with customers in real time. The more personal friendly you become, the more trust you will be able to create with your customers. Remember, the best customers are those who talk positively about you and invite their friends and families to buy your products. You may have heard about the Capability Maturity Model, CMMI. It was developed to improve usability models by integrating different models into one framework. I first used it in 1999 while I was working with Motorola. This was part of Motorola's internal Six Sigma and process optimization. As you can see, the model has 5 levels, starting with initial, where you are at the basics. Level 2 is managed. This is where you have some sense of project specification and so on. Level 3 is defined. This is where documentation from level 2 and backup procedures and risk processes have been established. Level 4 is controlled. You are now able to recreate losses from backups and can run projects well managed with efficiency. Level 5 is optimized. You are learning from mistakes and measures on each stage of your development or product line. At this stage, you are operating under a continuous improvement of all processes. We have similar model for digital transformation. The 5 stages of digital transformation is actually very similar to the CMMI model. Level 1 is foundation. You are upgrading your technology and planning to make use of digital technologies such as cloud, AI, or other services that might improve your business. You are automated some part of the business processes and you are not yet disruptive. Level 2 is siloed. Your business is experimenting with transforming some processes, models, and products. This is in addition to the automation from level 1. The business model are not complete. Level 3 is partially synchronized. Your company have a mix of old and new digital business models, products, and processes. You are not fully invested in a full transformation. Level 4 is fully synchronized. You are delivering industry-leading results, innovative digital products, and operational efficiency. You are digital optimized, but you are one technology, product, or process away from being disrupted again. Level 5 is living the DNA. Digital operation is your DNA. You are constantly evolving and a market leader. You operate fully digitally. Your workplace is digital savvy. You provide personalized creative value to your customers. You have an innovative business model. I have included this checklist for your reference. You might want to use it and add the necessary modification that fits your organization at each level. How does a company become disruptive? For this, we should understand that beyond technology, the company should learn how to become innovative by making use of entrepreneurial strategies, design thinking, DevOps, and customer-centric engagement. Let us talk about the 5 stages of disruption. We did mention earlier about Kodak and film businesses. The Kodak moment. Kodak was simply too slow to switch to digital. Being a chemical company, they sold film rolls and chemical solutions to process the film negatives. They simply did not have the expertise within the company to transform in time. Internet infrastructure. From the late 90s, the internet was booming. A lot of money was invested in this infrastructure, but the investors did not see any return as expected. This is where the bubble burst and the market valuation reduced and a lot of businesses had to close down. The disruption simply got disrupted. Technology meets disruptive business models. Let us look at Uber, for example. This app offers ride-hail service providing drivers to passengers. But what made a disruption in business model is when Uber expanded their offering of deliveries to F&B and parcel delivery. Deliver everything. Basically, they provide an API, which is an application programming interface, to their platform, so businesses can directly interface and use Uber services. This is something that FedEx and UPS maybe did not expect, an unexpected competitor to the market. Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. In many countries, we are developing smart cities and autonomous vehicles. The increasing number of connected devices will offer a huge amount of data that should be analyzed and processed. A way to process the data can be done by applying AI data modeling in order to understand or predict scenarios. For example, an autonomous vehicle might send information from sensors and cameras. The feedback data will give the vehicle the right indicators for how the vehicle has to react in traffic. The adoption curve. Tesla has an upgrade feature, which is simply done by software and a few parts, which will permit the car to go from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3 seconds. This installation cost about $10,000. To upgrade the Ferrari 488, it will take a customer 2 years on a waiting list and cost more than $300,000. The adoption curves are becoming steeper. Companies need to follow up in order to keep up with the speed to market. Entrepreneurs get together and form teams based on innovative ideas or problems they want to solve. They make use of iterative strategies to create products or solutions that solve problems for the customers. These strategies and processes are based on agile methods, customer-centric engagement, and cost-effective analysis. So they put together a pitch, and a few of them might be lucky to get funding to scale the business. A startup may typically make use of a business model canvas, or what we have here, the Lean Startup Canvas. This Lean Startup Canvas is basically a template to build a simple business plan. You may start by looking at the customer segment. If you know the problem, then identify that. In the customer segment, you create personas. These are profile of individual who live in a specific area, has a certain age group, and a certain type of jobs and interest. This person may have specific needs to a problem that can be solved. You might understand the persona's need and problem, and from there you can describe which solution to offer them. Your solution should have a unique value proposition that convinces the person to buy and use the product. Your innovative idea can be so unique that you have an unfair advantage on the market, making it difficult for the competitors to copy or provide alternative solutions. You will make use of selected channels to reach your customers. Maybe it's via social media or from your personal website or mobile app provided via some of the mobile stores. You will want to measure your success rate in key metrics by identifying certain metrics to measure on. It can be number of purchases or number of visits to your store. For your cost structure, You must identify the various costs to operate the business, manufacture products, or develop solutions. You also have various cost parameters when launch the business as well as marketing cost. Finally, the revenue stream. This is where you identify the different ways to monetize on the business. This also can be used to identify the lifetime value for the product. Normally, you will supplement this with a simple spreadsheet holding the numbers forecasting market size over year, product sales, cost, and profit and loss estimate. Now let us have a look at DevOps and Agile. DevOps means development and operation. In traditional business structure, the development teams are typically separated from operation. They are siloed. You will have IT operation teams who manages infrastructure, servers, and databases. They maintain your laptop or computer at your desk and are given a certain budget to operate within. Maybe this is the reason for IT managers or CTOs to sometimes dismiss additional security processes. Do you think they understand the risk? What would you identify as primary security risk? Now, as we talked about earlier, traditional organization structure is very much siloed, and this can give barriers of communication. Let us say that the marketing and sales team have decided to set up a sales event, and prior to that, they want to promote the event via the company's website. Now, they also want to give all the guests an app demo so that they can capture the participants' contact details and feedback for the event and app idea. They may work with the development team to create the app and the website. Because the organization is siloed, the operation team will restrict any further development because they have to validate the security protocols, they have to purchase a development server and plan for the infrastructure and appliance setup. Because of this structure, the app will never be deployed in time. Maybe the website comes up, but the purpose of the event will never be met and the company misses an opportunity. Now let us say that this company has implemented a digital strategy and merged the development and operations team to operate under DevOps. Now the developers can deploy a minimum viable product of the app on a server in the cloud. Because they can spin up a temporary server at minimum cost, they operate at lower risk. Since the two teams work together, they can plan and deploy both infrastructure and applications. They can validate security risk and make sure they respond to customer demand as well as business marketing and sales demand. On the slide you see the illustration for DevOps, and you will see an image illustrating Scrum processes. Agile is used in both DevOps and Scrum. Agile is a way of reducing waste and executing with higher efficiency. Let's look at innovation and technology. We will here take a look at an innovative framework or method. Companies who want to become innovative and continuously be a market leader will make use of the design thinking framework. As for technology, we will take a look at the trending technologies in digital transformation. Design thinking is a method to produce innovative thinking and creativity. Stanford Design School came up with a 5-step method. First step is understanding. At this step, you try to understand the users and find out what are their needs. Remember we talked about that during the Lean Startup Canvas. Step 2 is diverge stage. Here the team sit individually and sketches ideas based on the learning from the understanding stage. Typically each member will sketch 8 different sketches in 5 minutes and then spend some time to enhance selected sketches by themselves. Step 3 is decide stage or converge stage. This is where all team members meet and evaluate all the sketches. There are different methods used to score or vote on the best sketches and storyboards. Step 4 is the prototype stage. Here the best sketches are collected into prototype, representing a selected set of features that solve the problem identified in stage 1, the understanding stage. The prototype is usually a very realistic prototype that represents the selected features. Step 5 is the validate or test stage. Here the prototype is presented to the selected users and feedback is taken during the presentation and demo to be used to enhance the prototype and produce a final product module. The 5 steps continues as new ideas and problems are identified. I wanted to share this one with you as well. This is Google Ventures that came up with a similar design sprint process, also 5 steps. The only difference here is step 1, where Google Ventures method call it the map. It is still an understanding stage, although the team will start from the end. This means that the team will look at what is the expected output or end result. What is it that user wants to achieve? Once this is identified, the team will draw a map of steps to reach at the end result. Typically, the team will invite stakeholders during the map stage. These can be end users, it can be other colleagues in the company who may understand the output better. After the map has been created, the step 2 to 5 follows the same process as described before. So what are some of the technologies that supports innovation and disruption at this time? Cloud migration is the major transformation for most companies. It permits companies to scale the IT operation as well as introduce other digital products or services. Companies need data in order to analyze and forecast market, trend, user and customer behavior, as well as customers' feedback. Big data is therefore important, and big data is definitely the trend as data in itself becomes a valuable commodity for a lot of businesses. Take Facebook for example. It's a company that makes use of data in its business model, and so does Amazon and Google. Internet of Things is a mix of connected devices and big data. The data is stored in the cloud and provide usage in various scenarios depending of the device, data collected and more. Cybersecurity is very important, and since companies become more connected and have greater online presence, the security risk becomes higher. Artificial intelligence is part of the data analysis, modeling and forecasting. AI has almost unlimited usage as more and more companies innovate in this space. Blockchain is the new norm of authenticated data. Not only cryptocurrency is popular, but smart contract and other uses of blockchain become more valuable than the initial cryptocurrency models. Finally, additive manufacturing, like 3D printing. Companies that produce products may want to manufacture on demand and produce customized form factors at high speed. The traditional product casing manufacturing involves design and creation of a mold to shape the final form factor. The problem with this process is that it's very costly and usually it's not worth it unless there is thousands or more of products to produce. A 3D print of a product form factor does not require a mold and can be produced with just limited inventory and on demand. Now let's look at the various cloud services on the market today. The most popular cloud providers are AWS, Microsoft, AliCloud, Google, IBM, DigitalOcean, and more. The original offering was infrastructure as a service. This was instances a company can rent and spin up, just like VMware instances. The way it works today is that you can create network between the instances and you can set up a private network, secure and encrypted connection, as well as a VPN from your company to the cloud. Next is platform as a service. Most of the companies offer this setup. On Google, it's called App Engine. On AWS, it's called AWS Beanstalk. It permits you to upload, for example, a Python application or Ruby on Rails or Java application to be executed by the platform. The platform as a service manages the underlying compute instances as the application is executed. Then we have software as a service. These are offered by companies like Salesforce who then offer service to companies to sign up and make use of their software. Google G Suite with the Office products is a similar service, and Microsoft Office 365 is also a service like that. You also can get business process as a service and security as a service. When a company is operating, it is important to evaluate the uses of various services. In some cases, it makes sense to outsource services to such platforms. Your company could become the next innovative service provider. So let's discuss about your view on innovation. How do you think businesses in your area can become disruptive? The last section we will talk about is why many companies fail their digital transformation journey. This involves business strategies, market understanding, as well as leadership and training. On the Google Classroom, you have access to a few case studies. You're always welcome to ask questions, and I'll respond after this session or even on the Google Classroom session there. So now for strategies. We can again take a look at Kodak. As I mentioned earlier, Kodak was a chemical company and did not have immediate expertise in digital technologies. Then you have Blockbuster. They were renting video in stores, but since they owned stores, they believed in the business as a store operator, selling other goods as well as video renting. They failed as well. I used to work with a company named Pitney Bowes. They actually produce robotics for postal sector, mail sorting and package sorting, as well as stamp machine. During the years I was with them, we worked on innovative projects, but the company pulled out of Asia, except Japan, in 2016. Soon after that, they rebranded themselves as a software service provider for logistic industry. I believe they still have some of the heavy mail and parcel sorting machines, but this operation is possibly only offered in US, Europe, Japan, and Australia. Market understanding is part of the business strategy and business model. Here, the leaders will have to work on market analysis to understand the competition, examine potential threats from other companies and startups. You may see incumbent companies buying up startups because they see a potential threat and can see this opportunity can help them to reach an innovative edge. Customer engagement has changed. Customer may not trust your business. So how is your customer strategy? Are you customer centric? Do you have a personal level of contact with your business? And then there is the speed to market. As we discussed earlier, in order to be disruptive player, you will have to be faster to push your product or services to the market. In many companies, leadership is often a barrier to bring the company to the next level. C-levels need to upskill themselves to understand the technology impact and understand how to restructure the business to operate under a new, improved business model. A lot of the processes, framework, and tools we have discussed will have to be taken into a plan to implement digital transformation. Finally, there is not a cheap way to make a transformation, but the return of an investment is important for all companies. The opportunity cost has to be known, and the act of not implementing digital transformation will most likely result in the company's death. This is the end of the presentation slides. I hope that these slides gave you a thorough enough overview of the digital transformation process and the different tools that you could potentially look at. Please take a look at the Google Classroom slides and feel free to ask me questions anytime. Thank you very much.